February 26th, 2024, in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville, Tennessee. February 26th. That's the last time he has been seen. So what's going on right now? You know, we profile missing children all the time, every night. So my question right now is anyone still searching for Sebastian? Let me bring in my special guest, someone I know is still searching. Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, is with us, and also joining us, the Rogers family spokesperson, Tony Mathis.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Thank you both for being here.
Soul.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and the opportunity to speak about Sebastian. Seth, let me begin with you. Is anyone still searching for your missing son?
I am. I have a private investigator that's still working on it. She conducts her searches in private. She has her own volunteer base. We're not going to stop until we find it.
Let me ask you this, Seth. Outside of what you are doing, is this search still active? Let's talk about law enforcement.
From my understanding, law enforcement is still searching.
Tony has a headboard behind him. So headboard Betty and headboard Tony.
They're doing it privately as well. They're checking in on tips when they come in.
You don't know.
If we get tips, we pass them on to them. Same time we get them.
And how is that part going with tips? Are people still providing information when they come across things? And what are your thoughts about?
We still get information. I mean, we still get emails every day. We have a tip site that is up. My PI put that up. It's a valid tip site.
His PI put up the tip site? Granny, did you talk to Seth's PI? Did Seth's PI give you an earful of misinformation? His PI set up the tip line. Oh my God. What?
I want this to be crystal clear.
I know. Get up out that bed.
For anybody who wants to email or call, wants to be anonymous or whatnot.
Tony, I wanted to bring you in the conversation. This is a difficult situation. And I understand the onslaught of public attention that this has gotten. And sometimes that's a big positive in keeping Sebastian's face in the public and getting people to know who he is and think about him. And if they see something, hopefully say something. But obviously there can be downsides as well. How is all of this publicity, from your perspective, impacting the search for Sebastian?
Well, we don't really believe that any of the media attention, social media attention, any of that is really going to impact what law enforcement's doing one way or another. It does.
Oh, so that's why he fucks around online, is because he doesn't think it's going to affect law enforcement one way or the other. And we just heard SF Investigates talk about the pages and pages of bullshit that the cops had to sift through in the Riley Strain case. What'd they say, Music City?
Impact the father, that I represent, Seth. We thank all the creators out there that continue to keep Sebastian's name out and do it in a positive way. Our message to most of the media attention, more social media than mainstream, is that, we ask that you cover the case in a positive way. If you choose not to do that and back away, that's okay too. But, any positive support that we can get for Seth while he's looking for his son is a big deal for us.
Okay, that was weird as fuck. If you want to back away, you're free to do that too. Is he the God of us all? Does he tell us what to do? He is a praying mantis. Terry Lynn is Seth's PI? I've never heard that before, ever. I sent you the share link from Facebook video to your email. What video? Weeping. Thank you.
And Seth, I know that during the course of all of this, there have been some potential leads that became very public, including a photograph of someone who seemed to resemble Sebastian at a rest stop in, I believe, North Carolina. How are you holding up through all of this, and where's your level of optimism right now?
I think that's a lamp in his Airbnb. It's a lamp made out of an old fucking pitcher and thing that they used to use as a sink, a dry sink, or whatever the fuck they call them.
I have faith. I have hope. Sebastian's alive. We just gotta find him. There is nothing else. Just finding Sebastian.
Tony, I wanted to get you in on this as well, in terms of as a family spokesperson, do you feel that there is still the same level of, I guess, commitment from everyone, the community, law enforcement, media, to make sure that anything and everything is done to find this missing child?
Well, Vinny, I think that it's our job to keep his name out there in the community. All of our job on Seth's team, and of course I represent just Seth.
Seth?
You know, it's all of our jobs on his team to keep the community engaged. We continue to have events, have vigils, have gatherings, keep his name out there. The media, mainstream media, such as yourself and many others, have been very good and very helpful. It's very easy to get interviews if Seth feels up to doing an interview. I think the X factor for us is law enforcement. I think that the communication, it's been a bit lacking, at least as far as Seth and I are concerned.
Wait. He's back to this? He's back to now they're not communicating? We went from they were to they weren't to the communication's good again. And now the communication could be better again. AKA, they're not going to tell you guys shit. They're not going to tell you guys shit.
You know, we don't really know what it is they're doing. We have faith. We heavily back the blue. Of course, you know, Seth is in law enforcement. I live in Oklahoma. We strongly back the blue in my community. But, you know, the question that I always ask that we still haven't got an answer to is, you know, just simply tell Seth, are you any closer today to figuring out what happened to Sebastian than you were on February 26th?
That's his ultimate question. That's the $1 million question. Are you any closer to finding Sebastian than you were on February 26th? Lady for Justice, who cares about lamps, gossip, and bullshit? It's about Sebastian. Well, we can care about lamps, gossip, and bullshit and still care about Sebastian. Yep. That same question he says in every interview.
Then, quite frankly, we feel like that's a very fair and logical question. We have not got an answer to that.
That has to be absolutely excruciating. By the way, folks, as you watch, you'll see on the bottom of your screen numbers and places you can contact if you have any information. Seth, how are you holding up? I'm always concerned about you going through this. I've spoken with other parents through the years. I got a strong sense from them what it can be like. How are you holding up?
It's more like 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time. You know, it doesn't really seem like it's been 5 months. It's just you lose track of time. I mean, all you're doing is thinking about the next place to go look, what the next thing needs to be done, and just trying to stay positive, trying to stay focused on finding my son and what's the next step to do.
Ange Carter, I disagree. I don't think they ever gave Seth any information. He was kicked out of the command center, which was in the first 72 hours. I don't think they ever gave him shit. Val. Jay, do you think it's possible they gave investigators items that did not have Sebastian's scent on it, so that's why the dogs didn't hit anywhere? I thought of that early on, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when Vinnie is being told, he's not a dummy. When Vinnie's being told, the cops aren't talking to the father of a missing kid, I'm sure he's like, it's 5 months in, dude, and there's not giving you shit, and you're not cleared. Michael, why do you not like Craddock?
What's been the biggest frustration for you so far in the search?
Not getting much in terms of information-wise. The last thing that I was really informed of by the sheriff's office is they don't have anything stating that he left the house. And that's pretty much, that's it. But obviously he's not there, or else we wouldn't be looking for him. There's no sightings. There's nothing. Just went poof.
Just went poof. Why is he saying that now? Just went poof. Lady for Justice, with all respect, it wasn't a meeting that they were having. It wasn't a meeting of the minds. It was law enforcement searching for Sebastian, doing grid searches, extensive searches, and they had to kick him out.
Things just don't make sense. I mean, first of all, we're talking about a male child.
What are we looking at?
House with nothing.
What kind of footage is this? What are we looking at? Who are these people? And where are they looking? What is this? This doesn't even look like Sebastian's case. Where is this? What the fuck are they playing? I'm confused. Y'all know where this is? Ooh. Like that arm being up too. That shoulder must feel better. Where is that, y'all? Or is it the footage just not matching up with what they're showing?
I mean, first of all, we're talking about a male child that left his house with nothing. A teenager that left the house with nothing. No
Whose
phone,
house is that?
No switch, possibly no shoes, no backpack. I mean, completely unprepared. That's
no money.
It's not how he leaves the house to go somewhere with me.
Did you hear Tony? No money. The first week of Sebastian's search? I never saw that
Phone,
footage.
no switch, possibly no shoes, no backpack. I mean, completely unprepared. That's
No money.
it's not how he leaves the house to go somewhere with me. I don't expect him to leave anywhere without his phone and way of communication in case something happens. It's just too much doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Seth Rogers, Tony Mathis, stand by, stay with us. When we come back,
There's more.
we have another question to ask tonight. Was Sebastian's mom the last person to see him?
Beginning of the investigation, but go to sleep. And
Who was with him? Was there anyone with him at that moment? They're in the same house, different parts of the house. She heard a thud noise, but didn't go to see him. But what was going on with that alleged thud noise, and who was with him? Was there anyone with him at that moment? Or, bringing me to my next question, was Sebastian's mother the last person to see him? Was she the last one? Was there someone else that came to the house that night? Or is there some other story? Our guests are still with us. Seth Rogers, Sebastian's father, and Tony Mathis, the family spokesperson. Seth, from your perspective, I know you've listened to every potential piece of information that's been available in this case, that's been made available. To me, that thud noise, I've always thought about that, what that could have been if it happened, right? What are your thoughts about Sebastian's mom? Do you believe she's the last person to see Sebastian before he disappeared?
I'd say yes. I mean, he was in her house. She's the one that put him to bed. She'd be the last person to have seen him.
What do you think about that thud noise that she described, the rustling that was going on? I thought about it. I've looked at the house. His room is on the first floor, right? So his window is accessible from the outside.
It would be, I believe, but I know law enforcement went around the house and stated that none of the windows or screens had been tampered with.
Before.
So as for the thud, I mean, I don't know what she would classify as a thud. If I heard something in his room I know I'd go check on him just because I want to make sure he's okay. I mean, he's got a medical condition that would definitely mean I need to go check on him just to make sure he's okay.
And have you spoken with his mom about that night at all? Have you had any sort of conversation, either just the two of you or with other people there?
Have not had a conversation with her just alone, and
you won't.
Probably won't.
Didn't think so.
Why is that?
Because every time I want to speak to her, I'm going to have to speak to Chris. Chris wasn't there. I don't know why he needs to be involved in a conversation about what happened that night.
Oh! Hold on.
And if he was on a phone call, then maybe he can tell us what the thud was.
Hold on. Here we have again. He wants to talk to Katie alone. Why? He didn't have a problem talking to Chris, quote unquote, every day while they were, quote unquote, working on a plan to get Katie to let Sebastian go live with him. What is he talking about? And it's like I said, did Seth do this because he thought this would be alone time with Katie as well? Not did he do this because, but does he do this does he have it in his mind like Sebastian went missing and it's gonna be us, hand in hand, arm in arm, looking for our son together. Everything's about Katie and I can't talk to her alone, 'cause then I have to talk to Chris. It's her husband. Maybe this is why Katie left the house.
How about the rest of the day leading up to the point that Sebastian got home? Who was the last person other than his mom to see him? And have you spoken with that person?
No, I guess the last person to see him besides his mom would be, the waitress at at Texas Roadhouse.
And Tony, as we try to track and figure out who interacted with Sebastian, where he could have gone, how this could have happened, from your perspective, what are the lingering questions that you see in this case as well?
Well, if you're talking about that situation specifically, Vinny, I mean, clearly she was the last person that was seen with him. There has been no evidence that he ever left the house on his own. So in my mind, what would be the opposite of him leaving the house on his own? It would be leaving the house with somebody. Well, the only somebody, admittingly, by Katie that was in that house was her. So clearly we have some questions there. But my bigger question as Seth's spokesperson, and where I would ask Court TV to give us some assistance is, we have video evidence that shows that Seth was at work. We've had all of his electronic devices that have been seized and dumped. We'd like to know why Seth still hasn't been cleared, or what they might need from Seth and or myself to get him cleared.
So they have not cleared Seth? I didn't realize that. I just didn't realize that was the situation. So
Vinny's world just came crashing down. Watch.
I just didn't realize that was the situation.
He's like, what the
Not
fuck?
at all.
So my guess is if they haven't cleared him, that may explain some of the lack of communication that is going back and forth in this case.
Good possibility. But what more do you want from me? I was at work. I was video camera from 6 p.m. till after 7 a.m. the next morning. My son should be with me right now. He should be in this house, and I should not be looking for him. Tell me where I don't gain anything from this. This is not funny. The fact is I'm looking for my son. He's not here. Y'all took my electronics. What more do you want? Do they need my bank records? You can have them. I don't understand what I have to do to get cleared.
We're willing to do anything to get him cleared, Vinny.
Go ahead, Tony.
There are resources.
Yeah, we're willing to do anything to work with them to get him cleared, because it does allow us to bring in more resources once he's clear. And if
bring in more resources,
the phone data and whatever else they may need isn't enough, then we'd simply like us to tell them, why is it that he hasn't been cleared? He did a polygraph test with a well-known FBI polygrapher.
Absolutely.
Vinny's like, if you were cleared, they would let you know. Like
Nancy Grace set up, and he passed that with flying colors. So,
we're out of time, unfortunately. Tony, I'm sorry I have to cut you off there. We're out of time, but thank you both for joining us. We'll still look for those answers as the investigation continues.
Oh, damn. He cut that quick. Is that the end of it? Are the guests gone? Wait a minute. That ended weird and abruptly. So from the minute that he said he wasn't cleared, this interview went on what? Another minute? But they were probably given 20 minutes because that's right at the 20-minute mark, but he did end it abruptly.
I just didn't realize that that was the situation. So
Not at all.
So my guess is if they haven't cleared him, that may explain some of the lack of communication that is going back and forth in this case.
Good possibility. But what more do you want from me? I was at work. I was video camera from 6 p.m. till after 7
What is
a.m.
Tony
the next
doing?
morning.
He's like,
You know, my son should be with me right now. He should be in the
okay, but what does this have to do with him being cleared? Thanks for listening and have a good rest of your evening.